Right. Welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner, the classic lesser known classics. This is episode number 2782 and Doubleshot number 26. I think it's like 2676. Yep. First book we're discussing is New Warriors. Yes, we're discussing the second volume for the series, which will start with issue 0 here. Which, the members of this lineup is comprised of Speedball, Nova, who's in a brand new costume in this book. Yeah, for some reason he got rid of this costume. He got rid of the previous costume. He's in this costume now. Justice, Turbo. This, of course, is the second Turbo. Namorito, and there's no mention of a relationship with Nova and this brand new guy here. This whole book is written by Jay Ferber, who wrote all the issues. Not very long a book. No. My guess is it was probably canceled due to probably low sales. And you're probably thinking, why did it start? Now, it started issue 0. Why did you do that, Wizard? Okay, so the other members are... We can also include Rage, who's not on the cover here. We have first appearance of a character named Aegis. Yeah, he's a fairly new character who got killed off in Incredible Hercules. Yeah. And you might be asking, does he appear in all the issues of this book? He does. But here's the weird thing. As the book wraps up, he appears in one issue of Thunderbolts, an issue of X Factor, and he appears for a few issues of Incredible Hercules where he dies. Excuse me. The other members are Bolt. Yeah, he got killed off in the pages of Weapon X. Yeah, the brief ongoing series of Weapon X, not the Greg Pak on the previous one. Yeah, he was a mutant who joined the team, who was part of the brief ongoing that was Morlocks, and also appeared in Generation X. And Generation X does appear in this book. Not sure why they do, they just do. And does Jay Ferber recapture the magic that Baby Naziza did? He tries to. Is it a terrible book? Not really. I do not think it's terrible. We have Steve Scott on the artwork here. It's just... I wouldn't say we got some arrogant stuff like we did over in Nova. This one is like, okay, first of all, Orca issue 0. It's more like how the team come together in issue 0. In the proper issue 1, which is a giant-sized spectacular, because 2000s love having this. In case you're curious, though, this was released in 1999. No Volume 3. No Volume 3 was released in... I think that was also released in 1999 as well. That was released in March of 1999 to October 1999. Oh, I forgot to mention... He fought Venom his last issue. Yes, he fought Venom. He also fights freaking robots. Yes. That Thatcher is not a primary character in this book, sadly. Not really. So, they ever rejoined the team in the next issue. What, this issue 1. Where they take on Boomerang and Blastar. Yes. Issue number 2, Genocide and Eugenics. Genocide is a black woman who was from the previous book of the series, who made a return in this book. Who appears for this issue, appears in issue 1 and 2, and then that's the last to see of her. As for Eugenics, he also was in the previous one of the book. And he also disappears once his book wrapped. Once that issue 2, he just never appears ever again. It's like, okay, let's just basically fight a couple villains in the previous volume of the book to start with, and then move on to something else. Where Johnny Storm becomes a recurring character in the book. Yes, Johnny Storm of the Fantastic Four becomes a recurring character in the pages of New Warriors. He appears in a handful of issues of this book. And why is it that? Because he feels like it. That's why. Yeah, and plus also they had Dealing Fantastic Four as well. Yeah, and also the Fantastic Four book at this period of time was actually written by, I believe it was Chris Claremont writing the book period of time. Yes, I believe he was the main writer of the book. Here we go. Guys, I remember saying that he was in more than one issue of the book. He appeared in like a couple issues. Oh yeah, he also appeared in Nova as well. Oh yeah, here we go. He appeared in issues 3 and 4. And 6. So yeah, he did appear in a few issues, which I was right about that. There's one issue's cover, he's making out with Namora. Yeah, and then we have issue 4 debut of a group known as Heavy Metal, where it's led by Son of Submarine, and the members are Barracuda, Blackwing, Firestrike, Decibel, Stronghold, and Windblow. Joe Mafridi, who is the son of Submarine. Blackwing. Yeah, he is a character who made his debut in the pages of Daredevil. And get this. He was created by Jerry Conway. Then you're thinking, wait a minute, how the heck did Submarine have a son? Submarine's an old man. Of course he has a fully grown son. Yeah, so I'm not all that surprised about this. And if you're curious, though, he only appeared in 2 issues of New Warriors. And here's the weird thing. After this issue, he disappeared into an Infinity comic. Heavy Metal themselves, the group that made a debut in this very book, like, as soon as after this one issue, they never appeared again until 2 issues of Avengers Initiative. And that was it. You're like, what? Yes, seriously. Issue 5, they basically have, like I mentioned, they had a crossover with, they had mentioned with the team with Generation Next for an issue, which I was kind of surprised to see, because I read this book a while ago. I kind of forgot they were here. Yep. And here taking on a creature known as Biohazard, who appears for this one issue, and the next pops up in a one-shot, and then he appears in the final issue of Howling Commandos, and that was it for him. We do have a death in the issue, a guy by the name Harry Trainer, who debuted in the previous issue. He dies in issue 3. Yep. And by the way, the cover for issue number 5, it's a clear homage to, let me show the cover here. It's a clear homage to, of all things, Uncanny X-Men 100. It's clearly a homage to it. And then issue 6, like, oh yeah, let's bring back the real Nova. So Nova basically ditches the costume he had at the start of this book, and then he went back to his original costume. Not sure why. I guess that they missed the costume that much. So they take on Mutant Force in this issue. Yes. A group of villains from Captain America. And you're probably asking, is it one issue they appear in? Yes. And they appear 2 more times after this. Next they appear is X-Men Watchers on the Walls, which is a book. Yes, the next appearance is a fucking novel. And then they appear in an issue of Captain America by Kelly Thompson. Actually, that was the Gauges. And that's been it for them. Really? Yes, really. Yep. And like we have this other Angus. Oh, the breastplate. And we have like a romance between. Yes.
If you want to keep talking.
Anyways, yeah, so Romance issue 7. Issue 8, basically, well, you have New Warriors versus Ninjas. I think a guy called Juzo Muto, who claimed he was Iron Fist. Yeah, and he surprisingly appears more than one issue of this book. He appears in issues 8 and 10. Then he pops up in Iron Fist Wolverine. And that's the weird thing about this book. It's like the book ends with issue 10, and they, by the way, they also take on a same thing over Iron Man and the Blizzard. And Ginger, the character from Nova's book, she makes a guest appearance in the issue. Oh yeah, she was basically. Yeah, I know she was in Volume 3, and then she pops up in these last 2 issues, and that was the last you saw of her. Yes, Ginger. Richard Rider's girlfriend from his first book, she just disappears from comics. Yeah. Yeah, and then the final issue gets transferred by Hercules, and then like the book just ends, and then it says, "Oh yeah, you want the story to continue? Read Iron Fist Wolverine." Yeah, you're like, what the heck is this? Why the heck would Marvel do this? They end up a pretty interesting comic book. You bring it back after a few years, and you end after only 10 issues? My guess is it probably ended due to low sales. It was an interesting book, but I still love the original volume for the book. I think that book was amazing. And I think this book was trying its best to recapture the glory that was the first volume. It did an okay job with it. I don't think the book was terrible. It's just that it's not that memorable. Now, I should point out though there is still one more volume to discuss for New Warriors. Volume 4. A book that Nova is not even in. Really? Yeah, Nova does not appear in Volume 4. Night Thrasher does. Yeah, and that's probably also one of the reasons this book wasn't successful. No Night Thrasher. Yeah, he never appeared in this book. You're probably thinking, where the heck was Night Thrasher? It's like basically Jay Ferber did not even want him at all. Not sure why. Yeah, in case you're curious though, what did Nova do? What did Night Thrasher do after the Nova's New Warriors first volume concluded? So what did he do? He appeared in Ultra Girl, some issues of Thunderbolts, Avengers. I think mostly he appeared in Flat Track. He wasn't technically a part of the team, but he didn't do a lot in this period of time. Not really. And the weird thing was, he was never a member of this team. Not really. And in case you're curious though, where were they based? A firehouse. Yeah. That was kind of the thing with this book. I'm going to book roughly 8 and 9 now. I don't think the book was terrible. Next up we have All-Star Squadron, starting with issue number 27. Yep. Which, this is going to be quite interesting to discuss here, because this is right after the spin-off basically happened for the book. So they also Squadron on issue 27. They were basically supporting characters in their own book, like one issue. Yeah, Roy Thomas and Richard Howell doing the artwork. They were doing the artwork. Mostly plays them versus the Spectre for some of these issues, and still doing Stark on the Sorcerer here. Yeah, then we have Shining Knight appears in the book. Yes, they bring in the Seven Soldiers Victory. Now, Shining Knight himself would kind of become a regular character in this book. I think I remember at one point in this book, he actually formed a romantic relationship with the Team of Firebrand. Yeah, they actually were a couple in this book. And in case you're curious, though, He was a rare character in the book. He disappeared for a while. He came back at issue 29 and became regular. He was gone for quite a while. At issue 15, he just disappeared, and then he returned to issue 29. Let's give you a flashback episode of Victory. Here, this like one of them has been dead for some time. That being Wing. Yeah. It's like Roy Thomas is reintroducing the 700 Victory in this book. Why not? And then we deal with the Black Dragon Society, so issue 30. Yeah, they're villains from All-Star Comics. Yeah, an old JSA villain. Which Roy Thomas brought back here for one issue. And then they popped up again in America vs. Just Society, and then issue JLA, and that was it for them. It's like they're here for like one issue, and that was it. Those things more interesting as book goes on. Yes, it does. And then we have to involve the freaking Freedom Fighters. Yes, we have several issues where they go to Earth X, and they deal with, well, the events of, like, what if World War II was won by the Nazis. That's the whole purpose of Earth X. And the All-Star Squadron has to help out. And they do. Plus, of course, oh my gosh, they basically go into backstory like several characters. But the lineup in this is huge. You have Airwave, Amazing Man, who bears a flashback, Aquaman, Earth 2 Aquaman, the Atom, Earth 2 Batman, Black Condor, Commander Steel, Kermit's Avenger, Dan Dynamite. Okay, you might be thinking, who the heck is Dan Dynamite? Yeah, he was a second of a character named TNT. And he is virtually like a minor character from Starsman Comics. Yeah, he's not that big of a character. Dr. Fate, Dr. Midnight, Dollman with one of the Freedom Fighters, Firebrand, Flash, Jay Garrick, the Earth 2 Green Arrow, Alan Scott, Jim Harper, Hawker, Hawkman, Human Bomb, the Jester. The Jester was basically like a character who debuted original for this book. Yeah, he's the original character of this book who just joined part of this book. Johnny Quick, Johnny Thunder, Liberty Bell, Dan Richards, and Paul Kirk. Okay, so we have debuted this character in this book, issue 31, known as Midnight. I'm sure like a lot of people who saw this character, who in this book probably came back in the 80s, like, wait a minute, he looks a lot like the Spirit. And there he is. I mean, the way the guy is dressed here, does he not look like the Spirit? I'm like, wait a minute, what the heck is the Spirit doing in All-Star Squadron? And I read, nope, this is not the Spirit. This is an old Quality Comics character known as Midnight. A character which I completely forgot was even here. Now, of course, this is a rebooted version of the character. The original appeared in Quality Comics in Smash Comics number 18. He mostly appeared in Smash Comics. Yeah, he featured that book where you just bought crime. It's like, you see him, and the way he's drawn here, it's like he's supposed to be the Spirit. You know, blue hat, blue coat, red tie. What's the first thing you think of? The Spirit. Well, it's not the Spirit. It's like, this is supposed to be the Spirit. But my guess is that there probably was a legal issue. They couldn't use the Spirit, so they kept the design, but made this to Midnight, a character people probably never heard of before. Mr. America, Mr. Terrific. This, of course, was Terry Holt before he passed away. Fantality, Plastic Man, The Ray, Red Bee, Earth 2 Robin, Robot Man, Sandman, Sandy Gold Boy, Circuit Sorcerer, Shining Head, Spectre, Speedy, Starman, Larry Smoke Kid, Stripes, Earth 2 Suitman, Translate TNT, Vigilante. This was the Golden Age one. The Whip, Wildcat, Wing, Wonder Woman, and Zadara. Yeah, and this is all basically into a multi-issue story arc where they basically go to Earth X to help out with the Freedom Fighters. Yeah, and by the way, it's basically Uncle Sam asks for their help. And this goes on from issue 31. And I think it wraps up by, like 30... Let's see. I think about 36. I think it was. About 35. Yes, that's when they wrap up the storyline. But it's an excellent story arc. It was a lot of fun. We even have encountered Baron Blitzkrieg. Yes, who was an original character for this book. Actually, no, he was not. He was a character who first appeared in World's Finest 246, but he was reckoned to be one of the first villains. Yes, and what story Baron Blitzkrieg appeared in World's Finest comics? He appeared in a story for Wonder Woman. Yes, Wonder Woman feature of the book. And like right after the Earth X stuff was wrapped up. Then we deal with the Shazam family for a couple issues. Yep, Captain Marvel himself guest stars in this book. Because why not? Yeah, it lasts for a few issues, and then we're leading to a very stupid storyline. A storyline that which probably some people might think is two races neglected in trade, because it involves Amazing Man, who is black, and this is the 40s, and the cops being racist. Now, I'm sure Roy Thomas may have thought that for Detroit, it were racist. Because it was the 40s. Racism was very high back then. And they arrested him because he was black. Actually, there was also some rioting. And there's also this guy called The Real American who was just a hard to Google the Phantom Empire. His design-wise, it looks like it's basically like based on a Commander Steel uniform. And he's only here for a few issues. Who the heck this guy was, they never revealed who the heck this guy was. He's basically just Strawberry issue 40. But my gosh, it's like the Amazing Man joins the team too. Oh, and by the way, there's a lot of racism in these issues because it's the 40s. There is racism here. And because Firebrand dare Byrne with her fire powers, Byrne note that she saw it was racist. A guy basically tells like you gotta leave, and then Robot Man comes and nearly breaks a man's arm for basically being stupid. Yes, Robot Man. You're thinking Cliff Steele? No, it's Robert Crane, the original Robot Man. But these issues probably wouldn't fly nowadays. But it was the 80s. But the thing is, I should point out, though, the time setting was probably fine for this stuff to happen. This was the 40s, height of World War II. There was still racism in the 40s. Despite some people trying to erase racism from history, racism did exist. So, and it's just really good issues. But we're not done just yet here. All About Amazing Man joins with issue 40. If you're curious, though, there's exactly 27 issues left to go for the whole series. Okay, but the next thing we'll discuss here before we end this video is the final ever annual release of this series. Yes, it's an issue that focuses on Wonder Woman, and Jonathan Law, aka Tarantula. Where it's basically like... And we also with the old enemy of Dr. Fate. It is mostly it's set in the 40s, but it's a really fun book. It's basically them fighting like previous villains like Alexander the Great of Earth 2, who was a Flash villain. And we have a lot of these Golden Age characters making a final appearance here. Mainly because the next year is basically kind of different Earths. We also have Kyle, Dr. Dog, Ian Carter, Lightning Master, Sultan Satan, Tarantula. No, not Jonathan Law. It's a different Tarantula. He's the guy with enemy of the Sandman. And you probably think with a film like this enemy of the West without Sandman, did he appear in Midnight Theater? Nope. Never did. Lightning Master. Lightning Master was an enemy of the Golden Age Superman, and this was his final appearance. Sultan Satan. was an enemy of Jay Garrick. Yeah, first bad guy Jay Garrick fought, and they basically ran back here for this book. Wutan, and Dr. Fate. Does not be his final appearance. He would return after this. Catwoman, not in her final appearance. This is before her death. Yeah, it's just like a story that Tarantula and Wonder Woman recount about basically several characters making their final appearance in this book. Tarantula, Sergeant Lightmaster, Dr. Dog, and Alexander all make a final appearance in this book. But it's a really fun book. I really enjoyed this annual. It's basically like an all-star cast, this book. And the book's annual is drawn by Wayne Boring, Rich Buckler, Keith Giffen, rest in peace, man, Rich Hubbard, Richard Howell, and the late Carmen Infantino. Keith Giffen also did the inking for this book. Yes, and Roy Thomas wrote this with his wife, Dan Thomas. Yeah, it's a JSA book. It's just a story featuring the JSA in the past, but it's a really fun book. I loved this annual. The annual will still get a 10 out of 10. But we're not done both these books. Infinity Incorporated, we have exactly about 30 issues left to go for that book, XY 29. While in the case of All-Star Squadron, it's basically 27. Yep. So yes, that's particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do not hit the dislike button. They'll probably go over Comic Corner today. I'll say I'll stream later on today, but I'll probably work Comic Corner today, okay? Thanks for you. Bye.